Alright, so welcome back everybody. You are watching the Premier League Season 3 now. This is a knockout round between Virtus.Pro on the Radiant and Mouz Sports on the Dire. And I said knockout round because this match will decide, this best of 3 series will decide which team is taking 4th spot in the playoffs in January. Now, Virtus.Pro, they did knock out No Titan to come here, while Mouz Sports defeated absolute legends. And I've got to say, we'll see what Mouz Sports can do tonight. However, Virtus.Pro are definitely in fine form and are considered one of the stronger teams in Europe right now. So they are definitely the ones to beat. And straight away, this is an interesting ban. We do have the Keeper of the Light ban. Not a usual first ban, in all honesty. Generally speaking, we see stuff like Templar, Assassin, Magnetor, Batroid, as you can see there. Sometimes Darkseid, less so now. More we see those heroes getting banned out. Not so much Keeper of the Light. Keeper of the Light is often banned out in the second phase, but very rarely picked out first. Also, some teams, of course, do ban out specific heroes against specific teams. Obviously, Wisp versus Empire, that sort of thing is a very, very common ban. That said, though, we do have a Rubik ban as well. We should remember that Virtus.Pro do have the first pick, so they can snap up whatever leaks through first. It looks like there's going to be plenty of stuff leaking through here, but Rubik will be the second ban there. We'll see what Mouz Sports. I think they might even try and leave Templar Assassin just so they can get Fatter playing her. Fatter does play a fairly mean TA.
10 seconds remaining.
We have a Bounty Hunter banned out as well. And Bounty Hunter, of course, a very common ban as well. But Magnus will be banned out. There we go. Templar Assassin first picked by Mouz Sports. Getting Fatter on that. Darkseid also snapped up. But Magnus, of course, has been a very big force as of late. A lot of teams scared about him. His skill range is huge. It does allow him an escape mechanism so he can farm the off lane fairly safely with skill to escape with, and of course Shockwave to CS at range with as well. A little bit mana hungry, but he can support himself eventually. We've also seen him take solo mid and even jungle at times as well and pull. And Jakiro, the second pick for Virtus.Pro, but of course he is a hell of a force in the mid game as well. That huge vacuum effect with his stun is very hard to avoid. Of course, the very magic side of it as well is very attractive due to just a lot of heroes getting BKBs as of late as well. But Jakiro, the next pick for Virtus.Pro, along with the Undying. So it looks like they're going to have a fairly big mid-game presence here. They might just go for a full-on push. With Undying, I mean, they've got the Magnus that can set things up under a tower fairly easy. And of course, Undying, the other big deal, of course, with Undying is that his Tombstone is ridiculously powerful during those mid-game fights. And that said, he does scale up towards the late game. So if Mouz Sports can hold on, if they go for a more late-game oriented build, more late-game oriented lineup, they can, of course, hang on and just bring it in the late game. But that said, we might see Virtus.Pro. I mean, of course, Virtus.Pro could be picking up their own carry. We'll see. But Mouz Sports generally go for a late-game hero just because they have Black. Black is a hell of a farmer. Does get extremely rich during the game. So I would not be surprised if we see them pick up something to go with that. But the question is which carry that they'll go for. I mean, we could even see another Luna from Mouz Sports. But the third pick here from them, before we go over into the next banning phase, in fact, they might try and grab up that hard carry right now. And then ban out the counters, the specific problematic counters, quite shortly after that. Now, the Virtus.Pro's lineup, this could be one of a few things. I mean, Undying could be a primary farm, we'll see. But it really depends what they pick next. Now, Magnus, of course, like I said, could be an offlane, could be a solo mid. Their lineup right now, VP's lineup, is very flexible, and there's no real way to tell where they're going just yet. But it looks like Mouz Sports are going to spend a lot of time on this third pick. Only 20 seconds left.
Weaver.
And it will be a Weaver carry. Well, most likely a Weaver carry. Obviously, right before Weaver sort of got phased out, he was popular as an offlane, as a suicide hero. So he was somewhat popular as a suicide hero. I really didn't like it that much, and I honestly, most of the time, like 4 out of 5 times I saw it, it failed horribly. It got shut down just by a few counter wards. So I get the feeling that it's going to be a safe lane farm with Weaver there, especially since they have the Darkseid to take the suicide lane. We have Luna banned out by Mouz Sports, also have Enigma being banned out by Virtus.Pro. Now Weaver, of course, is going to be fairly hard to catch, and this means they can leave him alone. I do appreciate this, the fact that they can leave him alone, just have their other heroes either focus on pulling, working their own farm in the jungle, or roaming and ganking. He's not one of those heroes that needs constant attention, constant babysitting. Once you get him alone in his own lane against a suicide hero, or, you know, a dual lane, he can handle himself fairly easily. But now the fourth ban here for Virtus.Pro, the ban at the Enigma. We'll see if they get rid of... Well, Tidehunter used to be a really common ban. I don't know if they're that worried about him in this match. That said, though, with the range carry, of course, they can actually slot in some of those melee support heroes if they wanted to.
5 seconds remaining.
And it will be a Nyx Assassin getting banned out. Of course, that mana burn,
Turn
a hell of
to
an annoying thing. And of course, Nyx being banned out by Mousesports, but of course a Carapace is the other big deal. Popping a Carapace in the middle of a fight can cause absolute and utter confusion, as AoEs just clip him, stun people unexpectedly, that sort of business. It is really, really annoying. But of course his mid-game presence is also quite powerful. But Shadow Demon, the final ban here, decided to pick him off, and of course Disruption. Trying to pin down a Weaver when you've also got the Shadow Demon there to back him up as well, with the Disruption saves is pretty much one of the more frustrating things to try and attempt. It is very, very difficult to catch him. Shadow Demon, of course, a very strong defensive hero, but Sven, the next ban as well. It looks like Mousesports. Virtus.Pro have been known for using some of those mid-game strength semi-carries. Of course, they were one of the earlier teams to start bringing Nakes out on the field. And I think this is partially why Mousesports are getting rid of both Sven as well as the Nakes. But Disruptor, the next pick, I think we might actually see an Undying Disruptor and Jakiro tri-lane. I mean, that could be a defensive tri-lane if they wanted to. And of course, NS is one of the best disruptors in the business. It was, in fact, one of the more common. It was one of the more common respect bans against Virtus.Pro, getting rid of that disruptor to make sure NS could not get his mitts on it. Mousesports now with their fourth pick. They need some support heroes here, which I think is partially why the Shadow Demon and the Enigma were being banned out here, because it's the kind of thing that Mousesports wanted to run a dual lane as well as a jungler. So picking off those, and this is something that Nyx Assassin has been used as a support hero in a trial, and I'm not a huge fan of it, to be honest, because Nyx Assassin, he is a very level dependent hero, and by putting him in the jungle or even a support role, he does run very low
Radiant team
on those levels. It makes him a lot of time to catch up. Vengeful Spirit, though, the next pick for Mousesports, this will make, again, Weaver very difficult to catch, and also the negative armor stack from Vengeful Spirit and Weaver will be very, very efficient in causing a lot of damage. That said, though, we have Virtus.Pro selecting Phantom Lance, and what was his agility? It's like 4 point something. It's huge. His agility gain is absolutely huge. It was a massive buff, and I don't know. Oh, wow. I'm just looking at that. I don't know if they've got the AoE to do... Well, I suppose they do have the Iron Shell. They do have the Iron Shell, but of course he does get that extra magic resistance. They do have the Iron Shell, a bit of spill, and... They do have the Iron Shell, a bit of spill. Maybe the Radiance... No, the Radiance is not going to be enough alone. I think they're going to have a very difficult time clearing the Phantom Lancer illusions.
Windrunner at your service.
Windrunner will help out indeed, but the question is where Windrunner's going to go. I get the feeling Windrunner could be the suicide lane. It might actually, Kuriki playing the Darkseer does actually lend me to think that he will be taking a jungling role. That's actually something they've done with Kuriki in the past, giving him those jungling roles. Anyway, let's call out the players. Alright, so playing for the Radiant side for Virtus.Pro, we have NS playing Disruptor, no surprises, Airman playing Phantom Lancer, KSI and Shakira, Santa playing Undying, and Kurza on the Magnus. Playing for Mousesports, we have Fatta on the Templar Assassin, Kuriki playing Darkseer, Pass playing Windrunner, Alex on the Vengeful Spirit, and Black, of course, playing Weaver. No surprises there at all. Of course, Black will be playing the hard carry role. He'll be taking that safe lane most likely. But I do strongly... My best guess is that we will be seeing Weaver. Oh, no, sorry. We'll be seeing Darkseer in the jungle. We're seeing Pass take that suicide lane most likely. Yes, of course, Fatta in the mid there. Doing an eco build there with his Templar Assassin. We'll be rushing that bottle. Oh. Apparently they've added some new noise there to the text chat.
30 seconds to battle.
That could get somewhat irritating. People start spamming it in the game, but there we go. Magnus also with a very eco-friendly build here. I mean, he could actually be taking the mid in a moment. Looks like we'll have Disruptor going with a Phantom Lancer here. It looks like we might actually have some dual lanes busting out. And, of course, Undying is fairly hard to kill in the early phase because of Decay as well as Soul Rip, but of course he will actually be backed up to Chikiro. I think Chikiro might be going with it, although they could just be planting wards. This is also a possibility. They might actually be giving Undying the suicide lane here. This is definitely a possibility. He could actually just be warding for him, and then he'll be giving him a suicide lane. So it looks like KSI will have to be careful here, as Kuriki also coming out with the Iron Shell. And they realise that they can't get up that hill and wisely back off. Meanwhile, mid, Magnus versus Templar Assassin. Templar Assassin going to have a very easy time here, of course. Magnus is going to be CSing, harassing with burst damage. And that's what Templar Assassin, that's the best scenario for her to be against, the burst damage, because she can dodge so much of it with a refraction. There we go, Undying now. Going to be, and looks like Mage should be hanging around for a bit. He's going to try and back up that Dying. He's going to need it definitely. It looks like, Actually, did they bring in the... No, the nerfs have not come through yet. Okay, so yeah, he is sitting on the flat 100 damage. One of the nerfs that will be coming through for Jakiro is they will be lowering the damage on Ice Path at lower levels. It ramps up to 100 damage at level 4. So you see Windrunner popping a Windrunner there to get away. Suicide Soul Windrunner is not something I've had the pleasure of seeing in quite some time. Ice Path going through, they're not actually catching Weaver. This should be a fairly easy... Like, Weaver won't be in too much trouble here. This lane can't get too offensive against him. Undying's more of a defensive hero unless he's... Because he's got good positioning with... He's got good lockdown to go with the Tombstone, in which case, this case doesn't really have that there right now. The low level Ice Path's not really going to manage that. So Weaver should be able to farm fairly easily here. He's got a stun to back him up. Of course, he's got his invisibility for the escape mechanism as well. At the same time, though, he's not going to have too much harassment in the Undying. So Undying's going to get his own farm happening here. Of course, Undying, if he gets a lot of early farm, starts to become very, very difficult to remove. Kurz has picked up his bottle here. Founder, of course, also getting his own. Meanwhile, Windrunner being chased up here by NS. We've got to keep in mind, though, Phantom Lancer will be free farming at the same time. This is what worries me. I'm not dead sure that they have the AoE to effectively deal with that Phantom Lancer, and this almost puts the pressure on Mousesports to make something happen. And generally speaking, they're not a team who generally takes the initiative. They tend to be more defensive than anything else. Kuriki going to be handling the stack here, and this is actually something we haven't seen as much ever since they nerfed the whole smoke trick. It still can be done, of course. You can farm doing this, but it's just a little bit less efficient because the creep tend to sort of run around in circles, and it just limits the amount of burn that you can get happening all at once. We go, Dual Breath going to be harassing Weaver. The Weaver, though, immediately hitting the Shikuchi and getting out of trouble there. You see Curse here, should be CSing. Yeah, he's indeed out CSing. 16-5 here at the moment versus the 9-0. We also have 20-9 there for Ammon in the bottom lane versus Weaver. Weaver not doing as well, 16-4. He's keeping pace, but he is being harassed at field doing more, mostly because of the decay is being spread out there, and of course Dual Breath, as we saw, being used efficiently. But Weaver has picked up an early Ring of Health. We'll see if he goes for the full-on Vanguards, or he might just decide to sell the ring a little bit later. Knowing Black, though, he'll probably try, and in fact, he might actually, he's picked up an early Wraith Band. He may actually try and get a Ring of Aquila fairly soon, just to help solve his mana issues, just so he can spam Shikuchi a little bit more reliably. We'll see in just a moment there. So actually, Shakira looks like he's angling here for a potential kill. Alex now, copying those decays, of course, becomes very squishy once he starts getting hit by those. Templar Assassin has also finished off a Magic Wand. Their boot's been picked up by Magnus. Magnus, though, looking for the 4-minute rune. Looks like the Dire are going to camp the bottom one. That's it, the Radiant support's doing a similar job here, and they will be looking at an Ice Path being tossed out there to catch Alex. A stun goes out, however, it will be jacked here by Jakiro. Jakiro now on the run here. Fada, though, has got his boots, and this is a bit of an issue for Jakiro, although he does manage to back up there. So they could have tried to run him down if they wanted to, but that's their curse now. Just using whatever opportunity he can just to pick up any kind of last hits uncontested. And we see if Ammon is getting ahead of Weaver, 32-13 now versus 24-4, and it just comes down to the fact he is having an easier time CSing here. And the harassment there from Ammon becoming quite frustrating, of course. Has unable to dodge those nukes, whereas the auto attack harass much easier for him to deal with. See Undying starting to run low on mana here, so nobody has he managed to pick up. He's getting close to picking up enough money here for his Arcane Boots. He'll probably grab them as soon as he can. Pass needs to be careful, as Disruptor is a very good hero against him. Of course, if he tries to keep himself tries to keep himself safe with the Wind Run, of course he can be glimpsed out of position, so he needs to be very, very careful about his positioning there. Play more defensive than usual. The Templar Assassin most likely to be picking up Most likely be picking up those phase boosts with his tombstone tossed down there. Alex tries to get a fence here, but he may have made a terrible mistake. Dual breath tossed in as well. The zombies are all over him. A couple of auto attacks here from Stan, and Weaver cannot really provide any support here for Alex. Alex now, one last hit there, will be picked off, and now Black trying to back up here. Not in any real danger. Actually, we do have an ultimate here from Kurz, although Kurz realizes he's gone the other way. Now Black going to try and escape here. He's got Sakuchi up once again, going to try and dodge past. Is he going to go for the ultimate? No, he decides not to go for it. I think it's probably the wise choice. Unlikely to get the kill. They're only a 2-second stun on that ult. Now we see Fatter throwing down some preemptive wards there, or sonic traps rather. Probably won't be able to set up a kill here on Magnus. Magnus, of course, can just skewer himself out of danger. But if any supports come mid and then step out of line, he could try and pick them off fairly easily. So I think that decay really causing trouble for Weaver. Undyne quite happily tanking the harassment there. That's it. Kuriki has been free farming for quite some time. He'll bring up the goal per minute at the moment. You see, she's sitting on 52. Hasn't really been harassed yet. He's not doing too badly. Of course, has picked up his soul ring there, and looks like he might actually be trying to pick up tranquil boots as well with that ring of protection. We'll see. Or he might have just picked it up for an early armor boost. We'll see where he goes with in a minute. That said, Airman, what is he going for first? Has picked up his ring of Aquila, also the tranquil boots. We'll see if he goes straight for that diffusal blade. Of course, it is so damn good on the Phantom Lance, just because he procs all those illusions, which then proc the mana burn themselves. There we go, the ult in there from Kurz, gets it down on Fatter. Fatter also being skewered out of position. Ice Pop not really connecting there. Fatter now dual breath there. It looks like they don't have a stun though. Fatter actually just going to teleport out of trouble. As we see the first blood there going to the bottom lane. Apparently no first blood advancement there. For the first blood, it will go. Actually, no, sorry. First blood was taken in the top lane, but we do have Pass getting picked off there, unfortunately getting out of position. Of course, the harassment there from Phantom Lance, he can pretty much just spam Phantom Lance as much as he wants. Now the top lane, they're looking for a potential gank here. Kuriki's thinking about it, throws down another Iron Shell. Just the issue is, when they go in 3v2, it really favours Santa, just because he can start spamming that decay and hitting 3 heroes at once. And this is a situation where it's quite likely to backfire, but they find KSI out of position, and this is a hero they can pick off quickly before Santa comes. It looks like they are going to just run him down there. Santa actually throws down a very odd tombstone there as he will try and pick off Weaver. I think he was thinking that they were going to go after him, but in fact they were actually just trying to pick off KSI. The stun goes down to Santa. Santa's out of position now, away from his tombstone, trying to bait them back in there, but Iron Shell's doing a lot of damage. Decides to teleport out, vacuums up for 2 seconds. He will manage to escape though. I think that was a misplay by Virtus.Pro, unfortunately. They should have grouped up there. Unfortunately, the tombstone was not put in a position that could cover Shakira. In fact, I think he blew that tombstone way too early. What they wanted to do was to get the tombstone down like before, bait them into committing to one of those 2 heroes, throw the tombstone down that location, get the ice path and the dual breath off next to the tombstone, and then let the zombies do the rest of the work and the decays really work their magic from there on in. Unfortunately, split up like that, they just could not get that combination down, and KSI was just picked off way too early. But I think a misplay in the end. They didn't need to throw down the tombstone. That was way too early. And I think that they definitely jumped the gun on that. Should have just tried to group up, even if it meant KSI actually came further out of position, because against that combat, he was not going to escape like that anyway. Against those 2 heroes, with a surge in the Iron Shell, he had plenty of health. Kuriki had plenty of health to dive with. He probably should have come further up here, and of course Santa should have come down here and meet him, and then they could have thrown in the tombstone and gone for the combination. Just gotten some traded kills there rather than losing one hero for nothing in return. Meanwhile, they were mid in some trouble there. Kurz popping another stun. Fatter also being caught up into Kuriki now coming in. There's a kinetic field. They're going to trap Fatter in. Fatter going to be brought down. Dual breath being tossed out as well. But Kuriki are going to get a revenge kill there, and they will manage to pick him off this time. Kurz actually getting the kill. That was slightly better played there. Unfortunately, last time, all it was Fatter just decided to teleport on home. Didn't really care about them. But there we go, Phantom Lancer has picked up a Blade of Alacrity. I think this is very likely he will be rushing that Diffusal Blade. It's the most logical choice here. Is now Undyne. Looks like he might actually be going straight for a mech here. Of course, to make himself and his teammates much tankier and harder to deal with. KSI now coming top, maybe throwing down a offensive ward here behind the tower. That ward will actually, I believe that ward blockable will perform a similar function, will allow them to know when someone's sweeping in behind to try and gank them. Meanwhile, though, under the mid tower, we see Curse pop the invis rune. Fata was looking for trouble. Had some backup there from Kirk. He didn't find anything, though. Of course, that invis rune getting him get out of jail free card there. See the skewer under the tower. Once again, the teleports come in. There we go. NS also there. Kinetic Field once again. There's the ult as well. Very nicely played. Now, Kuriki maybe out of position himself. Going to surge forward. Can he get a kill here? Glimpse nicely done by NS. And this is why he's one of the best in the business. Kuriki now one more tower hit. He's in some trouble here. Pops the magic wand. Does he have a teleport? No, he doesn't. He's got to surge up in a second, though. Gets just past that kinetic field, but another shockwave will be the end of him, but that has a short cooldown and the ice path. Going to preemptively cut him off, and they know where he's going to. Shockwave comes through, hits him once again. One more auto attack here will be enough to bring him down. A nuke also being tossed in by Disruptor. That was very well played by Virtus.Pro indeed. As NS taunting him saying, juke, juke, juke. It's not going to matter. I will find you and I will kill you. But you see there, Fata just getting aggressive, and then suddenly out of nowhere, reinforcements pop out for Virtus.Pro. It was indeed a stroke of luck that they had that, well, basically that he made that move just as NS showed up. But again, those TPs in, Jakiro TPing, and this is why the support should always be carrying teleport scrolls. That's 2 kills in a row he's managed to help seal. Rather 3 if we can, of course. The fact that they got the Darkseer after that by those teleportation scrolls. It's very important for those supports, whereas on the other hand, we didn't see any ports in from Mousesports, though to be honest, I don't think they could have gotten position to save in time anyway. Vacuum back. This is where the Tombstone wants to go down. Here we go, Tombstone pass down. They do want the ports in now. Standard coming in once again here. He's going to turn this around. Glimpse straight back in now. Weaver, is that Weaver? No, it's Darkseer. He's in a lot of trouble here. Skewered forwards will be picked off. The old pop once again. Kerr's just missing Alex, as well as Weaver. That could have been a huge triple kill there. Dark's being popped. Weaver into trouble. And there's the ult as well as the kinetic field once again. And this is why people would ban Disruptor versus NS. He's lethal with this hero. It is very nasty indeed. The glimpse is just so good for picking people off when they overextend there, as we see the Empower being tossed out. Now they're going to go for a tower on top of that. Kansai has gone for his level 6 Macro Pyre, and of course you see the kinetic fields that Disruptor's thrown, and you combine that with a Macro Pyre. Even if it doesn't last the entire duration, it's incredibly crippling. And of course, it does help pin down the Templar Assassin. As it looks like, they're going to go for a gank here. Dual Breath, he's got the double damage there. Do we have a Dual Breath coming in? Ice Path has been tossed out. Dual Breath is kept in reserve. Only a level 1, but mostly kept for the slow. Now we have the Tombstone drop down. In fact, they might just kill that quickly. Need to get rid of that. There's Kinetic Field. The nuke being tossed down there. Nuke's being tossed in there by Phantom Lancer as well. Fata trying to back up. Ice Path going to catch him. Can they get a glimpse? No, going to be swapped out of position. Alex now the next target. Will be picked off there. Virtus.Pro coming together quite nicely. There's a vacuum skewer out there from Kurz. Kurz doesn't have his ult up for 40 seconds. Ice Path being tossed out again. There we go. Kinetic Field. Dual Breath down. Fata. Fata now taking a lot of damage. He's going to try and get clear there. Pops his... Wow, that's a surge. They're going to get him clear. Magnus does get picked up. Kuriki now in some trouble. Although he will have a surge in 3 seconds. Should be okay. Here a teleport coming in. Magnus is back. A buyback there as they will also pick off Black, getting a double kill there. Picks up Jakiro as well as Disruptor. Pass now looking for trouble. Actually trying to get clear there. As we see more Sonic Traps thrown down. Weaver now going to try and dodge that. Going to get hit by it. He's in line of sight there. Thanks to that Revelation Wall. Weaver trying to get clear. Getting hit by another Decay. Mousesports managing to turn that one around nicely. The harassment though coming in. Alex really getting... I don't know where he was going with that one. Gets picked off easily. Just walks point blank into a pair of nukes. Gets killed so quickly. See the ult again by Disruptor. NS going to take some names there. Ice Path once again. And his ult causing trouble with that kinetic field. Kozo looking for a shockwave. 1 second pass. Needs to dodge. Will get cleaned up by it. And now Weaver into trouble. Virtus.Pro again striking back. Kinetic field catches Weaver. They can see there's the ult as well. They pick him off yet again. And Virtus.Pro are just all over this top lane. It looked like Mousesports were getting some traction and then suddenly completely shut down. Although in all honesty, Mousesports making some misplays. They did not need to lose. They really did not need to lose Vengeful Spirit right there. She walked straight into the Magnus as well as the Phantom Lancer. That was just a really big misplay from him there. I don't know why he walked straight to those two heroes. There's no way he was going to fight them or survive against them.
Dire's top tower has fallen.
But of course, guys, do remember this is only game 1 in a best-of-3 series, so plenty of time for Mousesports to make a comeback. We'll just check the gold chart here right now, as it is a 5k plus advantage gold-wise. Experience-wise, also a 5k plus lead there as well. The biggest worry I have right now is the fact that you see there the farm difference. A good 30 more CS right now for Ammon over Black. The Phantom Lancer is much more farm here. They've got the early tower as well. The early couple of towers, in fact, and of course he is picking up kills there to boot. In fact, we'll check the actual GPM. They're 512 gold per minute. That is not a good sign indeed, especially since when they're already going to have trouble dealing with illusions. Getting these stupidly fat illusions is going to be even more of an issue here. We'll also bring up the net worth for everybody here. You see there, only 5k for Weaver, whereas we've got an 8,000 gold net value there for the Phantom Lancer. Looks like they're just going to sacrifice this mid tower here. They don't really want to get involved. They've lost that many team fights in a row. They really don't want to engage in another bad one. Meanwhile, though, actually, I heard a glimpse there as they will be skewering him back out of position. Kuriki getting picked off there. The NS ult, not really necessary there. Alex now being slowed down. The Purge is coming to play. There we go. Ice Path as well. Going to snap him up. One last hit, though. The kill will go to Phantom Lancer. There's the Empower once again. Actually going down on Santa. And he's also just trying to finish off that mech. It might actually be getting shipped out right now. Yes, it is. And this is going to give his team the constant push power that they need to make this happen. I mean, not that they have to push. They have the late game in the form of balance. That said, though, the arcane boots that they've got here will definitely help them out quite a bit. The arcane boots on Undying. Do we have it on anybody else as well? Disruptor's got a pair of them there. Okay, so they have a pair of them. Does Magnus have some? They have 3 of them, in fact. A Blink Dagger on Magnus too. 3 of them.
Dire's middle tower
Will definitely keep Phantom Lancer completely mad up. This means he can just spam that Phantom Lancer harass and just try and set up kills with. But Magnus, of course, is going to be blinking. And of course, Magnus, great initiation here. Can blink in on top of heroes, skewer them out of position, or blink in an ult. The mobility that he's been given now is a huge, huge factor. But there we go, KSI. Just going to be... I think that was highly unnecessary, but he will be just going for that single creep there, nuking it down. And there we go. It looks like Mouse Sports will be countering with a quick Roshan run now. And it looks like Virtus.Pro won't know this is going on unless Spidey senses tingle. They don't have any wards up. Nope, no wards up, so there's no vision happening right now. This will be a fairly easy pick off for them. They have plenty of negative armor. And they will give it to Templar Assassin. Meanwhile, though, it looks like Phantom, so it's just illusions pushing up there. We'll see what he goes for next. He has picked up a Vitality Boost. I think he's just going to go and make himself really, really tanky. He might even just go straight for a heart. If he just makes himself tanky and by proxy his illusion's really tanky, then I really struggle to see how Mousesports are going to deal with it efficiently. Now we see Weaver going for a Lincoln Sphere first. Oh, I really dislike this item on Weaver first. I mean, they've already got the swap save, and Weaver, of course, is already fairly slippery to catch. It's just the issue is it's going to delay his damage output for so long, and on top of that, they're already struggling as it is to deal with these guys in the team fights. I think if they just delay his damage output, it's really just going to cripple them in the end, but now they're going to try and pick off Santa. Santa now back up as we see Ammon does pick up another kill here.
Dire's top tower.
And there's that glimpse, going to try and pick up a target. The ult tossed in by NS. NS though going to skewer. Actually, wow, Kerr's actually skewering. That doesn't matter though. They get that double kill. And now Weaver also possibly into trouble here. Weaver though going to fight last. He does have his ult up. The time lapse ready to go. As he's batter going for the counter attack here. Kerr's though backing off behind the tower. Should be okay there as we see more shockwaves being spammed out there. Weaver should be able to back off though. But a good double kill. In fact, we count the loss in bottom lane as well. 3 kills there for Virtus.Pro. But Phantom Lancer is not one to be messed with in this bottom lane. No hero here can really mess with them by themselves except for Weaver. Anybody else is fairly easy food for him. You see the push here on the top tower. They should be able to bring this one down with no contest. And this is just the issue. Like, Weaver, he's at the 20-minute mark. He has just finished off as a defensive item.
Top tower is under attack.
Whereas we have the offensive output here from Phantom Lancer is much, much greater. You see, it doesn't look like he's hitting for much, but when you consider each of his illusions is getting that mana burn, that's a pretty big deal. Whereas Weaver just doesn't have that damage output at all. He's hitting for less, just straight up hitting for less, and on top of that, does not have those huge, huge mana burn hits. See Kinetic Field tossed out by NS. A good attempt, doesn't quite manage to find the target, or will it? Just shy. Doesn't matter though, the blink in, and Kuriki gets isolated and picked off very, very quickly. It's definitely a nice set of plays there. The Tombstone definitely unnecessary by Santa, but in the end, won't matter too much as we see Mouse Sports really just trying to scramble to get any kind of defense they can, trying to hold off here. But that said, even if they play defensively, see Undying has also picked up a gem. Now Weaver is going to find it even harder to stay clear. He's going to harassed there with his bugs. As now we're going to see the kinetic field tossed up. Going to get stuck inside the kinetic field. Shockwave, Ice Path as well. Swap out though by Alex, trying to keep him safe. Nukes get tossed in there. Will hit Alex. The Phantom Lance will bring him down. Skewer up the hill there. Now he's behind Weaver. Weaver in some trouble here. He's going to pop down the ult. Weaver in some serious trouble. Shockwave again. Picks off Weaver. Also harassing Widrow at the same time. But it looks like the mech will be popped. And I don't think there's much that Mouse Sports can do. And the tower's going down. And the ranks will follow shortly. Virtus.Pro, their team fight is very, very strong indeed. And Weaver, unfortunately, just having very little to offer in these fights. Vacuum in there, kinetic field tossed out once again. Shackle Shot gonna hit the Magnus there. Oh, wow, Macropire tossed out. Will manage to pick off Templar Assassin, but she'll be popping up in a second, trying to get clear there. And Darksy getting picked off by the Phantom Lance. Mouse now getting unfortunately pinned down by that Purge there. Alex also picked off once again. Fatter next to fall. Looks like it's just business as usual for Virtus.Pro. I mean, all they lost was Jakiro. Jakiro buys back because they can. There's the GG. Mouse Sports know it's over. And I mean, there really was no question of that. Just way too much team fight power and coordination here from Virtus.Pro. There's just no way that Mouse Sports with that lineup can compete in these team fights. They had a huge vacuum. Unfortunately, like you saw, we've seen several big vacuums there. There's just no follow-up. They have no AoE stun to catch up with it. They have no huge AoE nukes to go up. I mean, really the only AoE nuke that they've got is Power Shot. They just don't have that combination. Unfortunately, without that wombo combo, they just cannot deal with the fact that you've got these big team fight capabilities from Magnus, who just pops his ult, catches a whole bunch of heroes, Macropire goes, or if it's just kinetic field and Macropire, and the ult there from Disruptor. The Ice Pass being tossed, these huge AoE crowd controls that Mouse Sports just completely lack. I think in the end that's just a big deal. Mouse Sports picking a very single target oriented lineup. In the end it really backfired against them. But remember, this was just game 1 in a best of 3 series, so we'll be going over to game 2 fairly shortly, and of course they have plenty of time to try and make up everything. It will be a do-or-die match for Mouse Sports, but they can of course still prevail, so we'll see what they've got up their sleeve. They will need to bring up some curveball or aces, something they've got hidden up there, and chuck it at them, because of course Virtus.Pro are ones that are hard to fall. Any standard game against them is going to be difficult, I think, for Mouse Sports to win. But anyway guys, stay tuned. We'll be back in about 5 minutes with game number 2, Virtus.Pro versus